The Bass Clef Story. One day, Mrs. Clef was out shopping when she ran into her friend, Mr. Bass Clef. They had not seen each other in years. Miss Clef invited Mr. Bass Clef to lunch. The next day, Mr. Bass Clef went to Mrs. Clef's house, and Mrs. Clef had prepared a delicious lunch. Miss Clef thought that serving French fries would be a great addition to lunch. And when Mr. Bass Clef sat down to eat, he pointed to the plate of French fries and exclaimed, "What is the name of that food?" Miss Clef laughed and said, "French fries. But I must warn you, French fries taste very good. So don't eat them all the time." Mr. Bass Clef liked French fries so much that he began to eat French fries every day. He would eat French fries for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. One day, he looked in his mirror and yelled, "I have a fat nose from eating too many French fries." Mr. Bass Clef vowed not to eat any more French fries after seeing his fat nose. Then one morning, Mr. Bass Clef opened his refrigerator and found a bottle of ketchup. Mr. Bass Clef thought, ketchup and French fries? Would that be a great combination? Mr. Bass Clef began to dip French fries into ketchup, and it tasted wonderful. Mr. Bass Clef went back to his old habit of eating French fries all day long with ketchup. Then something terrible happened. One day, when Mr. Bass Clef went to put on his favorite jacket, his 3 buttons popped off. "Oh no!" he said. Mr. Bass Clef called Mrs. Clef, who came right over. Miss Clef told Mr. Bass Clef, "If you promise not to eat any more French fries every day, I would help you find your 3 missing buttons." Mr. Bass Clef promised, and they both began to look for the 3 buttons, but only found 2 buttons. That's okay, because Mr. Bass Clef's missing 3rd button helps everyone remember bass dough. What about Mr. Bass Clef's fat nose? Well, the story ends quite happily now, because Mr. Bass Clef loves his fat nose because it reminds you where fat nose fa is on the bass clef.